What's up, guys? And welcome to this episode of Tuesday Night Talks. My name's Mikhail.
And I'm Hannah.
And we were running a little bit behind, but I'm glad that we kind of got to get here on time today. So for those of you who have never checked in before, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., we do a live Facebook broadcast to answer any of your marketing questions or concerns. So if you are watching right now and you do have any marketing questions, please let us know. Just comment below and we'll answer your questions live. Next week we do have a surprise for you, which is really exciting. We can't say it. We can't say it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we can't
but
say it.
But it's gonna
yet.
be pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, why don't we get on with it? This week we have a lot of fun topics to cover. The first topic we're gonna cover today is Twitter and their calendar.
Yes.
Yes, their events calendar. The second topic we're gonna cover today is the do's and don'ts of influencer marketing. And we're also going to go through Hannah's highlights, which is Lady Gaga's 5'2".
It is.
Yes, and we're also going to go over what's working for our clients. So I wish that, thank you for being here with us today. Anyways, the first thing that we wanted to go over was Twitter's event calendars. And this is what I like about Twitter's event calendars, if you don't know about it yet, or why it's applicable. Obviously, if you've been on social media at all in the last 5 years, there's a holiday for everything. National Donut Day.
There really is. There's a National Left-Handers Day.
Yes, there is. Lady Gaga's left-handed.
Yes.
So there's a holiday for literally everything, and sometimes it's really hard to keep up with. What Twitter has helped us out with is if you go to business.twitter.com, every month now, I think that they're putting out a calendar with major events and their hashtag. That way you can stay on top of the fact that there are events happening and stay socially relevant, which is probably going to help us out a lot, right?
Yeah, I think it's really good to help with planning. So it just makes it more efficient. You don't have to go through and Google what events are in October.
Yes. So that's really awesome. If you guys want to check that out right now, it's on business.twitter.com. They have full PDF downloads of all the major events going on in October, so there's still time to check it out and make sure that you can plan your content around the major social media holidays that are going on right now, which I'm really pumped about. I think that is an amazing tool. In addition to that, we're going to have to figure out what to do because 7 o'clock is getting dark around here now.
It is. We're certain Tuesdays.
Yeah. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Anthony, thank you so much for checking out the Facebook Live. As always, Chris, thank you so much for checking us out today, and we hope that you guys find this useful. For those of you who are just checking in, every Tuesday night we do a live broadcast to answer any of your social media marketing questions. If you do have any social media marketing questions, please feel free to comment below and we will answer them live. The next topic of the day is the do's and don'ts of influencer marketing.
The latest buzzword.
Yes. It's crazy.
Along with granular and I don't love.
Yes. So for those of you who are not familiar with influencer marketing, it's all right if you've been living under a rock for the last 6 months, but influencer marketing is using other Instagram users that don't work for your company to help to essentially leverage their following to promote your brand, your product, or your service. So, for example, it's the same concept that Mervin's was using with Joe Montana back in the day. Do you remember this? This is a long time ago.
I think that's before my time.
Yes.
Sorry, Mick.
So, back in the early 90s, Mervin's took on Joe Montana as one of the spokespeople for their brand to help increase revenues and brand awareness. So now you can do something like that on Instagram with any Instagram user.
Basically any user.
Yeah.
Every brand will have different options of how many followers and what they want.
Exactly. So Hannah, you've been using Instagram marketing quite a bit, or Instagram influencers quite a bit, and helping out with our stuff there.
Yes.
So what would you say are some do's and don'ts of influencer marketing on Instagram?
I think a big one is to really allow the influencer to add their own voice to it. Yes, there is specific content or specific bullet points you want them to reach or to meet, but it's going to go across better with their audience if it's in their own voice. So if they're a little bit snarky or sassy like me, then let them have that fun tone of voice. If they're more serious, you can let them kind of go into that. And this is your chance to reach people you wouldn't ordinarily reach. So you want to give them the ability to do so.
Cool.
Don't, on the other hand, I think Instagram takeovers are on the way out, and I think they're generally a little bit, I think they're not always necessarily the best option, because you want to have the audience. That's a good way to increase follows, but to increase, I guess, influence.
Sure.
I don't really know where I'm going with this. You want to put them to post on their own account, not yours. And I think there's a benefit to posting on yours, but not nearly as much as posting on theirs. So you want to post on their own account, their own stories. I think we found a really good mix of one actual post and a couple stories. Has worked really well for some of our clients.
Oh yeah, for sure. Stories is super important, by the way. Like, this is a little bit outside. No, you know what? Let's stick to influencer marketing one thing at a time, McKay.
Next week.
Another do and don't. Do pay your influencers.
Not just in free product.
No, not just in free product. Do pay your influencers. A lot of times they'll take it a lot more seriously. So even if it's something like $100 for a couple posts, do make sure that you're paying your influencers, and do request for Facebook analytics as well. Most influencers now, would you agree, have like a business page which gives you analytics also. You can even ask for analytics on their past posts as well, so that you can see exactly how many people are being reached. For example, the impressions that you're going to get, and the impressions and reach differ. So impressions are how many times your post was seen. Reach is how many unique people saw it. And those are two key metrics to look at when you are choosing an influencer. So ask for a couple screenshots of their metrics before you choose them to pay, especially if you're paying and giving them free product. That'll help. So that's one thing that you want to do. And do not pick somebody just for the fact that they have a ton of followers.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just because you have a ton of followers doesn't mean that it's going to do anything for your brand. For example, if I were to choose Justin Bieber to be an influencer for our marketing agency, it probably wouldn't transpire into a lot of business for us, because his audience is a little bit different than ours.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a little.
We don't work with a lot of 16 to 22-year-old girls, right? So that's something to keep in mind. So definitely don't just pick somebody because they have a lot of followers. The other things you want to look at is how many people are actually engaging with that person's posts, in addition to like how many comments are there and whether or not they fit your target audience. You know what I mean? So if I did want to choose Justin Bieber for something, it might be for like, you know, a sneaker brand or a new pair of headphones or something like that. You know, we want to make sure that it fits.
And another part of that is quality over quantity. So yes, a potential influencer might only have 1,500 followers, but they might be really high quality followers that are really engaging with them, and they have a really good engagement rate with their content. That would be a great way to spend your influencer budget.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Video only mode. All right. What is the next subject? Oh, next we're going to be talking about Hannah's highlights. If you guys haven't checked out the Lady Gaga documentary, I highly recommend it. I'm a huge fan of Lady Gaga, but Hannah, what did you think about the Lady Gaga?
Let me preface this by saying that I like her music, but I've never been like a huge major fan. I don't follow her that much except what kind of evolves in pop culture. But I watched it this weekend, and I think it was really valuable. It was really real, and she's very transparent, which I really appreciate. And one part that came through was her struggle with fibromyalgia, which, if you don't know, is basically body-wide near constant pain. And the fact that she performs on a regular basis in the manner that she performs with that is incredible. I also have a chronic illness, so I related to it a lot more, and that's why, and someone using their platform to share what it's like, and I think it was a really good, real, valid look at what it's like. And then there's also one part where she said, I don't know how I could do this if I didn't have my physical therapist traveling with me and stuff like that. And so I just think it was a really interesting look. And then also just kind of seeing the behind the scenes. I love documentaries in general. So even if you love documentaries and don't really care about chronic illness.
What about the cinematography and how it was produced? Like, what did you think about that for the documentary too? Because there's a lot of good information out there, but sometimes if it's not produced well, like, I just don't like it that much.
I liked how you could tell it was minimal producing. It was likely only a couple people on the shoot at any given time, but it was still high quality. So there's a difference between one shaky handheld cam and then actually having one that might be a little bit shaky, but it's high quality. They're asking the right questions. The editing was really solid, I think, and I think overall it was a very good. We're talking about Lady Gaga's documentary, 5'2".
Isaiah, and anybody else who's just checking in, every Tuesday night we do a live Facebook broadcast to talk about digital marketing strategies and answering any of your questions live. So if you have any questions about growing your Instagram influence or Facebook following or whatever it might be, or just marketing your business, please comment below, and we would be more than happy to answer that for you. So we do that every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We also go through Hannah's highlights, where she was talking about the Lady Gaga documentary. Actually, Amy Aarons asks, so the number one was, what is the Twitter event calendar? So just to recap, Amy, if you go to business.twitter.com, they're currently publishing on their blog some major event calendars, which is going to help you a lot with planning your content around the month, which is really cool. So things that are happening in pop culture, things, social media, holidays like #Donut Day or whatever, those are all being documented for you and put on business.twitter.com, so be sure to check that out. But Amy also had a question specifically for you, Hannah. On the documentary, did you find it moving, and if so, what part?
Going back to what I said about how she was sharing her journey with chronic illness, I think the scene that a lot of people are talking about is when she was on the couch in tears, in massive amounts of pain, the morning she was supposed to perform at Tony Bennett's birthday gala or whatever, and then she went out and she performed. And I think that scene stands out, but it's also just, that's what her everyday is like. And so I think it was a really good picture of what life with a chronic illness is like. And I don't usually like to dwell on it, but it's true, and I really appreciate Lady Gaga for being willing to share that. Yeah. And I think it's going to do a lot for kind of the cause in general, especially because fibromyalgia, I mean, there's not really a cure. There's hardly treatment. So,
you know what, the other thing I think is kind of cool about what she was doing too is the fact that, like, she, you know, a lot of people believe that she has it made, what else could Lady Gaga want?
Right.
But I bet you that she would change, like, a normal, healthy life in exchange for the anxiety that comes with what she's doing, in addition to the physical ailments that she's dealing with, right? So
I also really appreciate how when they were playing the Super Bowl show, she said, I want to do something that no one else is going to expect. And, I mean, we've all seen the Super Bowl footage by now. If you haven't, you're living under a rock. And so it was really cool to see the background of them building it. And,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was so really good. Cool. So we have a couple more questions. One is from Dr. Nicholas Deliberato. Never heard of this guy before. Just kidding. If you guys don't know Dr.
He saves
Nick,
my back, guys.
Yeah,
Great.
if you guys don't know Dr. Nick D, he saves her back and my hip. One of the cooler chiropractors I've met in our area, and definitely somebody we would definitely recommend. But Dr. Nick asks, assuming your company's customers, in his case their patients, are going to post a review on Facebook, Yelp, or Google, which one do we actually recommend, and why? Is there not an app to post on all, and why is there not an app to post on all three? Well, definitely the one that I would recommend is Yelp, and the reason being is because just culture-wise, people are still going to Yelp to see what other people are saying. With that being said, there is value on Facebook and Google, but even before that, I would take Google before I take Facebook. With Google, the more reviews you have, the better that you're going to come up in search feeds, especially in an industry that is as competitive as a chiropractor in Orange County, which might be a common search term. But the more reviews that you have, the higher you're going to come up in local searches. But again, if you can only have one forever, it would definitely be Yelp. Would you agree that most people are checking on Yelp to compare?
Yes, because I mean, Yelp is one of the first results that comes up for anything.
Yeah,
so if you search restaurants in Orange County, then the highest reviewed, closest restaurants are going to come up on Yelp. So I think it's definitely, like Google, it comes up with a search on maps or whatever, but Yelp is easiest. And that's one of the most trusted options.
And speaking of Yelp, do you ever use Yelp to just like look up a restaurant or something?
I do.
Do you use the Yelp app?
I do.
Okay. And so Hannah's a hipster, so if she uses it, that means all the cool kids are using it.
No, I think that's the exact opposite.
Okay. And in all seriousness, no, though, if I were to choose one, Dr. Nick, it would definitely be Yelp. I think that would be the most important to get your reviews on. Don't disregard the other ones, but Yelp is definitely the number one I would choose. That's what I would choose for any restaurant or any service-based business or anything like that.
And medical, I think for a while, it wasn't super widely used on Yelp, but
Yeah.
that's definitely changing, and
Yeah.
Yelp is one of the most important places that you can be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another question actually from Dr. Nicholas Deliberato is, if you are going to advertise a special promotion, is it better to build that into your website or utilize a ClickFunnels type tool? Thank you for both. For that question specifically, Astrid, thank you so much for checking in. Dr. Nick's question was, if you're going to advertise a promotion, would you put it on your website or would you use a ClickFunnels? For those of you who do not know, a ClickFunnels is essentially a path that a potential customer is going to take before they make a purchasing decision to work with you, use your service, or eat your food, or get your back cracked by them.
And the spoons.
And the spoons. And the spoons. In this particular situation, to be quite honest with you, I would use both. Now, and here's exactly how I would use both. On, for example, above the fold on your website, and above the fold I mean before you scroll down on your website, I would put that specific offer. So let's say it's $100 for your first visit and complete consultation for your, when you visit the Spine and Joint Clinic of OC. That's a drop, and we're not getting paid for that. I would put that above the fold so that people who are coming to your site organically, potentially from a Google search or Instagram or something like that, can see that you have this offer available to them. But, put that in bold and make sure that they're registering immediately. In addition to that, that is something that you would definitely want to promote on Facebook ads as well. And, I would definitely make sure that you're promoting an ad that has that same copy. Either have them fill out a Facebook lead form, or you can have that ad click directly to your website, which is specifically a landing page for this exact offer, right?
Yep.
So it would say the $100 or whatever we're talking about for your first visit, and right there, right on that page, just in small bullet points you're going to get a full evaluation and consultation. You'll have your adjustment. You'll have a care plan that's sent out to you and everything like that, just in very small on the side bullet points. But then make sure that your registration form with your phone number, which is required for you to put in, is there so that you can call those people immediately. All of that stuff is definitely very important. So to answer your question, I would definitely say both. Use both. Would you agree?
I would, yes. I think there's definitely value in increasing, because you want to track where traffic is coming from, and you can use that by the number of people who went to the lead page and then to the funnel and then called. But it's also a great way to bring in business as long as it's the right type of offer.
Absolutely. And make sure that you have Google Analytics set up for you as well. In Google Analytics, you can actually see where most of your traffic is coming from, and you can set up your goal conversions so that you can see, like, hey, somebody came through the website organically and that's how they signed up, or they came through on a Facebook ad and that's how they signed up. So again, do both always and forever. When in doubt, do everything. No? No? Don't do everything? All right, cool. So again, for those of you just checking in, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Every Tuesday night we do a Facebook Live broadcast to answer any of your marketing questions. So until next week, again, we have a surprise for you next week, so be sure to check in. Yes, we really appreciate it. And I would like to leave you guys with this. As you may or may not know, I do a podcast now, and we recently interviewed Ashley Ketchadorian. And she left us with a bit of advice, or at least a statement, which I thought was really heavy. So, the quote of this week is, when you start saying yes to who you are, the world starts to open up to you differently. So I hope you remember that this week. And until next time, I'm Mikhail.
And I'm Hannah.
And we'll see you on Facebook next week.